I am an anthropologist, and Ivan is an industrial engineer. But for several circumstances, we became involved in the Andean Spiritual Tradition. I started to research the Indian spiritual system of beliefs in 1968. And after 11 years, I found something. I found a group of very skillful spiritual masters. After only 10 years of researching, I found how there were that kind of masters. And of course I was interested in that. And I found my first master, Inka-Tradition. And he sent me to do a pilgrimage to the sanctuary as the first step of initiation. And in that time, Juan was 7 years old. And we went together there, and we became initiated at that time. And after that, we became fellows. And for a while, we were using this spiritual art only for our own benefit. And after 91, we started to share that with foreign people. And finally, we had a lot of fellows in several parts of Europe, and we do lectures and workshops about the Andean spiritual path. We call it spiritual art for several circumstances, because even if there is a very sophisticated cosmology in the back, it's not a request to be accepted as part of the practitioners. Doesn't matter what you believe, or if you are a Roman Catholic or a Protestant or a communist or anything. If you want to participate in your work, well, the only thing is to learn how to perform the exercises. And because of that, we can call it spiritual art. More or less in the same way in which the yoga is in spiritual art. Well, the masters call it Kausaikuri. Kausaikuri means walking with the living energy, or learning how to walk with life. This is the Indian name of the path. As you can see, we are not professionally trained in the Jungian psychology or any kind of psychology. I'm an anthropologist and he's an engineer. But we establish a big relation with Jungian psychology, because it was the only symbolical pattern who helped us to explain the path in rational terms. Because in the Jungian psychology, there is a lot of explanations for certain kind of phenomenon we were experiencing as a result of the teaching of the master. But anyway, we are amateurs, we are not professionals in Jungian psychology or Jungian analysis. And because of that, we are going to present that only as an hypothesis. And of course, as experts, you can, some of you can see if our approach is accurate or not. Anyway, there are several factors who give a framework for the practice of this spiritual art. One is the notion of causa y pacha. Causa means life or living energy in Quechua, the language of the Inca. And pacha means space and time simultaneously. And in that way you can translate causa y pacha as the cosmos, but the living cosmos, which means everything is made through living energy. And everything which exists in the cosmos is just a form of living energy. The house is a form of living energy, the lake is a form of living energy, I am a form of living energy, and you are just different forms of living energy. Everything is made through living energy. Everything which is made through living energy radiates living energy, which means we are literally immersed in living energy. And there is an overabundance of life, living energy, life, and abundant life. You can take for granted as something totally free. Okay? There are another parts in which people work with living energy too. What we call causa could be the same than prana in the Hindu tradition, or ki, or chi, or even in the Western Gnostic tradition, you can refer to the same force as the power of the Holy Spirit. Okay? From the perspective of the perception, is the same. Of course, the theologies or the philosophies which are in the back are different. But if you just see this factor from the perspective of the perception, which is important in the tradition, you can feel the same. If somebody is putting your hand, his head in your hand, giving you, sharing with you the Holy Spirit, or somebody is invoking the key or the key, the perception is the same. With all our respect for the philosophies which are in the back of the other tradition, but you can compare this factor, causa, with all this. Okay? And we're immersed in causa. In some other tradition, there is something like a scarcity of. For us, there is an overabundance of that. And it's available for every human being, and every human being can pick up all the living energy he needs or he wants to have an abundant life by free. And when I say by free, it's by free. Okay? No conditions. You don't need to be pure, you don't need to purify yourself, you don't need to anything. You need just only to make the intention, to make a connection with that, and the whole living energy is available for you. I think how, if you want to translate that to the framework of the Jungian tradition, maybe we can see it as psychic energy. Jung speak about psychic energy and libido. Yeah. The perception is the same, of course. The theory is one, etc. Anyway, but this is basic for us. We live immersed in a living cosmos. Everything which is made through living energy, radiate living energy, and of course, we can have it by free. The second important factor of our cosmology is the notion of Inka-seed. Of course, this is an agrarian metaphor. Inka is the title of the emperor in the 16th century. And today, we use the word Inka to refer to an enlightened person. Enlightened in the same way than the Buddha. Okay? It's a state. It's a level. For us, it's the sixth level. We are going to see how there are different levels. But anyway, this is very important because according to the tradition, every human being comes to planet Earth carrying an Inka seed inside. What's the meaning of that? Following the agrarian metaphor, it means you have inside yourself the potential to become enlightened in one life. Okay? All the knowledge, all the skills you need to become enlightened are inside yourself from the beginning. And I insist to my master if there is only a condition of the Andean Indians. And they say how every human being, doesn't matter if he is an Indian or not, carries this potential inside himself. And with these two basic tools, you have an adequate idea about what's about working with living energy. It's about making a connection between the living energy of outside with the Inka seed inside. And when you do that, you trigger a process, which is a natural process, like a germination. If you trigger that process, you are going to be a witness of a growth which happened inside yourself. Okay? Something which is going to flow inside yourself. What? Based in that, we have several exercises, and all the exercises are based only in the intention. The intention is capable to drive the living energy which is outside yourself. What we know, what is intention. I'm not going to try to explain to you what is the meaning of intention, because to explain you that, maybe I need to write 12 volumes. Okay? But you know exactly what it is. We are here because we made the intention to come. Okay? When we receive the invitation to come, we need to do a lot of things. We need to do for a visa, buy a ticket to the plane, etc. But the trigger was the intention. We made the intention to come. In this moment, my hand is following my intention. And everybody knows that. Okay? Your intention is a factor which commands almost everything you do. The only new thing is the discovery of the Andean Indians about how this intention is capable to drive the living energy. Okay? And based on that, we have our basic exercise.